Hi, everyone. This is John Cottrell, and this is Soft Flow. This is a 60-minute gentle yoga practice. So welcome. Glad you're here for this practice today. You might see I've got a different scenery here. I just kind of flip things around just to give you a different point of view, a different perspective. And sometimes we just need a different perspective, even in our yoga practice, just doing things a little differently, feeling things a little differently. And I think it really helps us to define the details and see all the minor subtleties even in our practice. So sometimes you need to do a little shift of things. So we did a little change here in our scenery. So for our practice today, we're just going to be focusing on one particular pose, and it's called half moon pose, half moon pose. And we'll be building up to it. So there'll certainly be postures along the way to get to that pose. But that'll be kind of the highlight of our practice today. And we will, of course, use props. So, of course, you might want to have a blanket to sit on for just some comfort. Also for hands and knees, when you're on your hands and knees, just a little cushioning underneath you. A couple of blocks, and I do recommend a couple of blocks for your practice today, especially for our half moon pose. It's a posture that involves balance and also bringing the floor a little bit closer to you. So some stacked blocks or some books would be very useful. And a strap, just optional really for a strap to use for our practice for some hamstring stretching. So just something long like a tie or a belt or a rope, something like that. And maybe a bolster that might be nice for your Shavasana practice when you come to relaxation at the end of this class. So that's it in regards to beginning. Again, welcome. So I invite you to find a comfortable seat, and that could be sitting on a pillow or blanket or just on your mat. Feel free to cross your legs or extend your legs if you'd like. Even feel free to sit up against a wall or sit in a chair as we begin our practice. We like to start with a breathing meditation just to tune into the breath, find stillness, and really connect as we begin. So as you find yourself settling in, you might start with a few deep breaths in and out. Deep breath in and a slow breath out. You might even breathe in deeply through your nose with a slow exhale through your mouth with a sigh. And as you get settled in and get reacquainted with your breath, just find stillness and just continue with slow, steady breathing. Just a basic, gentle awareness of your breath. As you're breathing in, you might even feel the lifting and lengthening of your spine, feeling tall in your seat, and just feel the breath rising to fill up your lungs. And a slow and controlled exhale, draw your navel inward toward your spine. Just want to have a light engagement of the abdominal system, that contraction of the abdominal muscles, but make it light, not too strong, just an awareness of your center. Again, you'll breathe in, just feel that nice lengthening of your spine, sitting up tall. Feel the breath rise to fill up your lungs, and your slow and controlled exhale. That light contraction of your stomach muscles. Just a few more breaths while we're in stillness. In a moment, we'll add movement. This will be our moving meditation. Very simple. When you're ready, just an inhale to extend your arms out and up into the air, reaching high, big stretch. And exhale, extend your arms out and back down. Very nice. Again, an inhale to extend your arms out, really reach. So there is some effort as you extend your arms out and then up towards the sky. Exhale. And as you're exhaling, you're still drawing your navel inward towards your spine and allowing your arms to float back down by your side. Now just go ahead and continue to breathe and move at your own pace. You want to feel as if the breath is moving you. The breath is moving you. This is a good awareness of the breath or prana, giving life, movement, and energy to your body. Good extension out through your arms with some effort. Just feel like you're stretching, elongating. As you're moving in slow motion, just feel the motion through your shoulders as you reach up and down. Energy in your hands and fingers as you reach for each wall on either side of you. Notice the lengthening through the sides of your body as you reach up into the air. And then any other part of your body that might be responding to this simple movement. Go ahead and finish the breath that you're on and take 2 more breaths. And when you're complete with your breath and movement work, just continue your breathing, but let your arms just come down by your side. Just relax. From here, it's going to take your hands behind you. Just reach back behind you. You might lean back into your fingertips or your palms, just really depending if you're sitting up on something. And with your arms behind you, just feel that drawing of the shoulders back a little bit. So you have a little bit of an engagement of your upper back, a little squeeze of the shoulder blades together. Lean back and then tip your chin up a little bit. We create this very minor back bending. We feel like your sternum, the very top of your sternum, is lifting and reaching up towards the sky. Let's take a nice full breath in and fill up that part of your chest. Feel that nice expansion through your lungs. Exhale, still draw navel inward toward your spine. We'll add some sensation here as you squeeze your shoulder blades together a little bit more. Inhale, feel the lengthening of the spine with that natural curvature in the spine. Heart rising, lungs expanding. Exhaling, navel to spine, squeezing shoulder blades together. As you're pressing your hands or fingers into the mat, feel the energy through your hands, even through your arms, shoulders drawn back, opened chest. So we've added more sensation, more awareness to the body. Take 1 more breath in and out. And then just go ahead and lower your chin so your neck is neutral. Bring your hands back into your lap. Continue to sit up nice and tall and just take a breath in and out. Now, if your legs were crossed in this position, let's go ahead and uncross the legs and bring the soles of the feet together. Moving into cobbler's pose, you still want to sit up tall. To help you sit up tall, just hold on to your shins or ankles. Just hold on and just extend the spine, sitting up very tall in the body. We'll inhale and just feel the breath rise up into the lungs. Exhale, draw belly in, hinge at the hips. Shift forward slightly, leading with your heart and chin just a little bit forward, just creating that angled upper body. We'll take another breath in, still at this angled body, elongating through your spine. Exhale, draw belly in, just for security of the body as you put the body in motion, hinging forward a little bit more. So really take your time with this. You don't need to move too quickly. You certainly don't have to go too far in the pose. And that's part of the foundation of this class, this soft flow practice, where you're not asked to go too fast or even go too deep in any of our poses. We want to support the body with breath. We also have the support of the body with our props. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Notice the sensations. You might have rounded the back in this position, which is perfectly fine. You may even notice some sensation in your inner thighs and hips. And if your back did round, To come out of the pose, just lift your head and just look forward out in front of you, past the front of your mat. That will help to re-extend your spine. Even with your hands on your mat, just press into the ground to help lift yourself back up into your nice and tall in your back body again. Take a breath or two. All right, let's transition to our hands and knees. Just take your time as you make that movement. Here you might want to use some padding, maybe a blanket if you'd like, for your hands and knees, just to protect your joints, your wrists and kneecaps. And just meet me here in this tabletop position. So we'll do cat and cow. We're going to inhale to look up or forward, create this arched back, a little back bend feel here. Exhale, round it out. You'll tuck your chin in towards your chest, rounding the spine. We'll just continue with this nice flow. You'll inhale to look forward. Feel your pelvis tip back. Your belly might drop. That creates that back bend. Exhale, round it out, tucking the tailbone underneath. Pull belly button up towards your spine, chin to chest, rounded spine. So our inhale is a cow pose. It's called cow pose. We're looking forward, back bend. Exhale into cat pose, rounded spine. Just continue with this nice flow. Go at your own pace. You're still following the breath. Remember, your breath is moving you. Feel the undulation of the spine. Hopefully there's some opening and some releasing through the back, through your hips, your pelvis. It's a very simple movement with great benefits. Finish the breath that you're on and take 2 more breaths. And just return to a neutral tabletop position. Look directly downward. That'll keep the neck long. Take a breath or 2. And then when you come to stillness in any pose, just notice how you're feeling. And then take your time to crawl off of your blanket if you're using one. Just set it to the side. And then return to hands and knees and we'll get set up for our next pose, downward facing dog. We're going to set it up. You're going to step your hands forward a little bit and spread out your fingers pretty wide as you step them forward so you create a good base. Step them forward. Now your wrists are out from underneath your shoulders. Press into the ground. So there's a flattening of your palms, more strength and energy in your straight arms. Inhale and move into cow. So look forward. Arched back feeling, that back bend. Exhale into cat. Hold cat pose for a second. While you're holding it, tuck your toes. And then lift your knees and hips into the air. And this will take you into downward facing dog. Feel free to make any adjustments with your feet, maybe even your hands on your mat, just so you can settle into the pose for a moment. Keep a slight bend in your knees. That will keep your hips pretty mobile. So you can continue to lift your hips into the air. That will elongate through the torso much more. Now let's look at the space up between the hands and start walking or stepping forward. Now you don't have to reach your hands with your feet. Just get your feet underneath you so they're flat on the ground. And once you have that sensation, you'll be in a deep forward fold like this. Then inhale and just slide your hands up the legs until you reach your knees or thighs and extend your spine so it's long and flat like a table. And then you can fold a little bit more going down towards toes. My hands are just at my ankles. I could bend my knees more and go ahead and touch my toes. You can do the same. You can even round your back more or let your head just reach downward towards the floor. And if you are hanging heavily forward, you might just roll your shoulders, even shake them out a little bit, even a gentle shake in the head, just releasing any tightness that might be in the upper body. You can even just kind of sway a little bit left and right, just getting into the low back and hips. Or just hold in stillness. So this is standing forward fold. Come back to center. You're going to inhale and slide your hands back up to your knees or thighs, extending your spine. Let's hold here as we exhale. So this is a little tabletop posture. This is half forward fold. We sometimes call it monkey pose. Hold for a second, and then lean back into your heels. Bend your knees and feel like you're going to sit down into a very low chair. Look forward, and this may allow you to take your arms out to the side like you're spreading your wings, and then just stand up. And once you're tall, just reach up into the air. Hold that for a second or two. Reach a little higher if you're able. Then exhale, bring your arms down by your side like this. Good. And so we just made our way to standing in mountain pose. Just go ahead and situate yourself so your feet are about hip distance apart, toes are pointing forward, and just arms down by your side. And maybe just roll the shoulders back just to ensure you have good posturing. Just making sure your shoulders aren't rolled forward, but just rolled back naturally, and just keep your gaze forward for a couple of breaths. You just want to feel that nice lengthening through the spine, strong, straight legs. All right. Let's do our half salute again. We're going to inhale, extend your arms into the air. Exhale, spread your wings, bend your knees, and sit back into that imaginary chair again. Making your way down, maybe touching the ground or just your shins. Inhale, rise up halfway, right there. Exhale, fold. Then shifting your weight back into your heels. We're getting ready to stand up. Bend your knees, sit down into your imaginary chair. Look forward, spread your wings. Inhale, stand up tall, reach as high as you can, big stretch. Exhale, bring your arms back down by your side. Return to this nice neutral position. Roll shoulders back, chest proud. Very nice. All right, we're going to continue with our flow. We're going to inhale, extend arms into the air, reach high, good effort. Exhale, sit back into the imaginary chair as you spread your wings, slowly fold. Maybe your hands just land at your shins. You never have to touch the ground here. Inhale, rise up halfway. Feel the top of your head lead you forward. Exhale, fold. But take your time as you fold, bend the knees more, and then place your hands on your mat, down on the ground, step back, both feet. Take your time with this until we're in plank pose or a high push-up position. We'll hold here for a couple of breaths just to establish some good strength in the upper body as well as your core system. We'll breathe in, find more length through the body. Exhale, bend your knees a little, send your hips into the air, and this is our return to downward facing dog. Tiptoe forward a little bit, maybe adjust your hands if you need to, maybe spread out your fingers. Hold for a moment, keep that slight bend in the knees while your hips lift up into the air, hands press into the ground, and notice if you feel like you're getting longer. From here, we're going to inhale, lift the right foot and extend your right leg back behind you. It doesn't have to lift high, just lift and reach through your toes. Exhale, bend this right knee, bring it in underneath you towards your chest or chin. Shift your body weight forward so your shoulders are directly over your wrists. And then set the right foot down onto the ground. And then set the left knee onto the ground. This is just a way to get this foot all the way to the top of the mat. Just literally pick it up and place it there. Let's relift the left knee. You'll be in a runner's lunge for a moment. If your weight is forward towards the front edge of your mat, we need to pull the hips back towards the back edge of your mat to find balance. So there's less weight and pressure in the hands. From here, see if you can rise up to fingertips and lengthen through the torso. So you might look like this. Lots of energy in this front leg. Bring both hands up to your thigh, press into the thigh to lift your upper body until we're about 45 degrees. This should really elongate through the back body and even down through this back left leg. Let's press that back heel into the mat. Even feel like your inner thighs are squeezing in towards each other. Engage your belly. Sweep your arms out to the side, rise up, look forward as you reach up into the air. Good extension as you reach a little higher and maybe lunge a little lower, not too much. Hold for a moment. You're going to lift out of that deep lunge, pivot or turn left heel to the floor. You'll turn sideways and bring your arms down to parallel, and this will bring us into Warrior Two. We're going to hold here for a moment, but let's relax the arms. Just bring them down. Let's just focus on the legs here. Now you can keep the legs and feet exactly where they are as far as the distance, but you certainly are welcome to take them a little wider. For example, you might wiggle the right foot forward just a tiny bit and maybe the left foot back a tiny bit. That's enough. and then maybe just lunge a little deeper. Now this front leg, if you can see it, my right knee is directly over the heel, okay, of this foot. A nice, relatively straight line there. I'm going to turn to face you for a second because I want you to be sure that this front knee is also pointing directly forward and isn't dipping to the inside like this, okay? So just be aware of that right knee and just holding there. Just getting a little bit more release through the hips. Now we're working towards half moon pose. Warrior Two is actually a great setup for half moon. All right, we're breaking this down. Let's re-extend the arms out to the side like this. We're going to take this a little deeper to our side angle. So you're going to reach out as if you're going to touch a wall out in front of you, angle the upper half of the body, as you can see here, and then rotate the arms. Bring your right arm down to the inner right thigh while your left hand reaches into the air. Really feel this extension of the left arm up into the air. And this opening of the body, especially this extension, right hand down, left hand up, this too is a way that we're preparing for half moon pose. Some of you might know what that posture is. If you don't, that's okay. We'll be working towards it. But these are this kind of our breakdown steps toward that posture. Breathe in. We're going to exhale, carefully turn the body, carefully fold. Go slowly. Bring your palms to the ground. Rise up onto your tiptoes behind you. This returns us to our lunge. Press palms strongly into the ground so you can slide this right foot back to meet the other. It's our return to plank pose for strength. Hold. Bend your knees a little, send your hips into the air, and this is downward facing dog. We're going to continue, but if you need to rest, please feel free to rest. You can always just come down to the ground and take a little rest. And just join us when you're ready. When you're ready, inhale, extend the left leg up into the air. Reach back, nice and straight and strong. Exhale, bend this left knee, bring it in underneath you towards your chest as your upper body shifts forward. Now your shoulders are stacked nicely over the left wrist. Place left foot down. It's probably just your toes. Set the right knee down. I'm picking up this left foot and just stepping it up a little higher. Now you probably can take the foot all the way up without needing to pick it up. That's fine too. Let's relift that right knee. Notice if the weight is forward. If so, shift the weight back so there's less weight in the hands. Rise up to fingertips. This is a little test. I call this just sweep the floor. If you can do this easily without any strain to your back, then you're good. You're balanced. Your center of gravity is at your hips. Bring your hands up to your thigh, press into the thigh, extending through spine at this 45-degree angle, pressing the right heel towards the ground behind you to help you anchor. Squeeze to inner thighs, engage strong legs. We need that. Pull belly in, then take arms out to the side, rise up, reach up, big stretch, lunge a little bit. This is our breakdown. I like to break it down step by step to get into each pose. Okay, lift a little bit out of your lunge, pivot right heel to the floor, turn sideways, bring your arms down to parallel. Reach. Okay, hold for a second just to arrive in the pose, and then go ahead and relax your arms. We're just going to do the exact same thing as we did on the other side. Just be aware if you want to change the distance between the feet. Maybe moving the left foot forward a little bit, right foot back a little bit. Bending this front knee, not too far. We don't want it to go past the middle of the foot or past the toes. You can see if we're in this position, putting way too much pressure on this front knee. So you want to pull that back, something like this, okay? Make sure your left knee is pointing directly forward and not dip to the inside. Let's go ahead and re-extend the arms, reach. Side angle, reach out, follow this left arm forward, angled upper body, rotate the arms. Now left hand down, right hand reaching up. Feel this nice opening of the body. Reach. Maybe lunge a little deeper, get a little bit more into this left inner thigh stretch. Again, this is all our preparatory work for our half moon pose. And I'll disclose here, again, it's a balancing posture. We're going to breathe in. Exhale, we'll turn carefully towards the ground. Fold slowly. Bring your hands to the mat. Rise up onto your tiptoes behind you. Press into the ground pretty strongly with your hands so you can slide this left foot back, plank. Hold. And then just bring knees to the ground. We're going to take a seat. So I often just sit back briefly into hero pose, just something like this, and then sit off to the side, bringing the legs around to the front. Now we're going to hold here for a moment and do some hamstring stretch work in seated forward fold. Here is where you might want to use a strap for your seated forward fold. You don't have to use a strap for this, but you're certainly welcome to. If you are using a prop, go ahead and wrap the strap around the bottom of the feet. You're just going to hold on to the ends of the strap. If you don't have a strap, just place your hands on the mat by your hips. Push into the ground to help extend your spine. You want to sit up nice and tall. And let's all flex our feet to elongate through the legs. Again, if you're using a strap, just a little pull of the strap will help you to sit up tall here. Okay, and let's go for our forward fold. Let's inhale, extending spine. If you're not using a strap, you might even extend your arms up into the air. Exhale, begin to hinge forward a little bit. If you have free hands, just bring them down to your shins. If you're using the strap, on that exhale, just tug on the strap a little bit and lead with your heart and chin going forward just a little bit and just start to feel that stretch quality in the hamstrings. Now for me, I don't really have to go too far to get that sensation. Maybe you need to go a little bit further, but so really pay attention to your own body and how far you need to go. You can always adjust your hands on your strap, folding a little bit deeper. Always feel free to even bend the knees. If you feel like you're folding and you're getting a burn sensation, or you feel like you're overstretching in the back of the knee or hamstring, just bend your knees. Perfectly fine. So a nice hold, breathing as we're holding this seated forward fold. Getting into the hamstrings, giving them a little length, stretching them out a little bit. Let's go ahead and take 3 more breaths. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and rise back up until you're nice and tall in your seat, and we're done with the strap. So you can just set the strap to the side. Let's do a version of boat pose, which I really like. So just going to bend your knees right here. Just keep your heels on the ground, keep your feet flexed. Hold on to the backs of the bent knees here and use that as leverage to help extend the spine. Now you might sit up nice and tall like this, just to make sure you're nicely elongated in the spine. But then while keeping the back flat, you're just going to lean back, something like this. Now the feet can stay on the ground for this version. Breathing in just to continue to feel that lifting through the spine. Exhale, engaging your belly. So we're doing some good core work. And what I like about this version is that because we're taking some of the legs out of the equation, since we're not lifting the feet, the legs get to relax a little longer, putting more emphasis on the core work. So you might be able to hold a little bit longer, which is nice. Let's just go ahead and take 2 more breaths. After that second breath, you can just kind of relax out of the pose. All right, let's come back to hands and knees. Just swing the legs around, get onto hands and knees. I'm just going to spin around here like this. Step your hands forward, spreading out your fingers for a good base. Let's do cat and cow. Inhale for cow, look forward, arch the back. Exhale, round into cat pose. Hold cat, tuck your toes, and then lift your knees into the air while the hips lift. Downward facing dog. Hold for a second, feel that nice elongated spine. Look at the space between your hands and take a walk up to the hands or just to a place where your feet are flat. Inhale, rise up halfway, monkey pose right here. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, let your bottom sit down into your chair. Look forward, arms extend out to the side. Let's stand up nice and tall. Reach into the air. Exhale, arms down by your side. Excellent. So we'll return to our mountain pose. Feel free to maybe shake things out a little bit. Your shoulders, your hips, your legs and feet. And we're going to move into tree pose. Tree pose, which is a balancing posture, which will also help us work towards half moon. Now, what you may want to do is if you happen to be near a wall, use a wall, okay, as a prop, just to help you balance. And just by holding onto the wall, it will help you just to hold the balance a little longer, okay? So if you want to, just go ahead and find a wall to stand next to, or a chair, the back of a chair, just anything where you can help stabilize yourself. And so what we'll do, we'll shift the weight into your right foot, root down into the ground, feel nice and tall through the spine. Inhale to feel that lengthening through the spine. Exhale, pull belly in. Let's lift the left foot. Swing that leg out to the side like that, placing foot on the inside of your standing leg. All the while, you're maybe just holding on to a wall here, okay? Just giving you a little bit of support. So my left knee pointing out to the side. Even feeling yourself get a little taller since you've got something to support yourself. Again, you might be able to hold the pose a little longer. And maybe with the free arm, just extend it into the air. You can certainly do this freely. If you don't want to use the wall, that's fine. But just for added stability, go ahead and use the wall. Breathing in and out. Now, of course, this is balance work, but this is also a hip opening work. Just because of the foot placement, the knee bent and the hip opening and kind of swung open as it is, it's a nice opening for the hips. All right, one more breath in and out. We'll go ahead and bring the arms down, or at least the free arm down. Let's swing the left knee forward. Maybe lift the knee with a flexed foot, plant the foot back down into the ground. Both arms down by your side. You can even shake all that out. Very nice. Good. So you can just turn around if you need to, or just go to another wall or move your chair, whatever you need to do, whatever you're using as your base. And we'll get ready for the other side. So we'll start shifting weight into the left foot, root down into the floor, feel tall and lifted and lengthened through the spine, core engaged. And then we'll float the right foot up, flexing the foot just to keep the legs strong. Here's the hip opener as the knee swings out to the side, placing foot on the inside of the standing leg. Now, I always go to my calf. This is fine. You can always go lower. If you need more stability, place your toes on the ground. Maybe you can bend the knee more and bring the foot up higher to inner thigh. I'm going to keep mine here. And you can even hold on to it. If it feels like it's going to slide off, just hold on to it. So maybe this is your tree pose. So holding on to the ankle to keep that foot in place if it's on the inner thigh, and of course the hand on the wall. A few more breaths. Good. So just really just allows you just to hold the posture a little bit longer, and allows for what we want in this pose. We want a nice tall spine, lengthened spine, focus and attention and balance, and that hip opening. All right, we're going to bring this right knee forward, lifting the knee with the flexed foot. We'll plant the foot into the ground. Arms can come down by your side. Even a little roll of the shoulders here. Shake it all out. Okay, let's get back to our flow. We've got a couple more poses to do, and then we'll break down the half moon. We're going to inhale, extend the arms into the air. Exhale, bend the knees, sit back into the imaginary chair, folding forward, maybe touching the ground, just bend the knees more. Inhale, slide hands up to the knees or thighs, extending your spine to that flat back. Exhale, fold carefully all the way down until you can bring your hands to the ground. Step your feet back. Plank pose. Hold for an inhale. Exhale, bend your knees, lift hips into the air, downward facing dog. Make some adjustments. We're still in motion. We're going to inhale, extend right leg up, reach back. Exhale, bend right knee, bring it in towards chest or chin. Step all the way to the top of the mat if you can, or next to the right hand, or do what we did before. You picked up your foot to place it there. Then pull hips back until you're light in the fingers. You can do the brushing or sweeping of the ground. Bring hands to thigh. Lift to 45 degrees. Extended spine. Left heel presses back. Leg engagement by squeezing the legs to center. Pull belly in. Extend your arms out and up. Looking forward. Reach high. Settle into the pocket of this pose, just lunge a little deeper. And then pivot left heel to the floor, turn sideways. Let's bring arms down to parallel, warrior two. Make some adjustments with your feet again if you'd like. We're going into triangle pose. So you're going to lengthen this front leg, so straight leg. You can even shorten the distance between the feet a little bit if you need to. Now from here, still reaching out over that right leg, angled upper body, and rotate the arms. So another hamstring stretch. Nice side body stretch, extending through the arms top to bottom. We're getting even closer to what half moon will look like. Let's hold here a little bit longer. Really feel these good extensions through the body. There's a lot of energy in the body, and we'll certainly need to use this type of energy in our half moon pose. To come out of this posture, let's start by bending this right knee into a lunge. Come back up to a warrior two, hold. We're in a windmill. Take this back hand, left hand up and over, turn. Bring the hands to the floor, carefully fold. Hands to the ground, rise up onto tiptoes behind you. Push firmly into the mat with the hands. Slide right foot back, plank pose. Bend your knees, hips into the air, down dog. Other side. When you're ready, inhale, extend left leg up, reach to your toes. Exhale, bend the left knee, bring it in underneath you. It's up to the top of the mat or near this left hand, or do that same segment of picking up the foot to place it there. Pull the hips back. Rise to those light fingertips, extending spine. Hands to thigh, lifting to 45 degrees. Still extending spine more. Right heel plants into the ground or towards the ground to anchor. Squeeze to inner thighs. Pull belly in. Then sweep your arms out. Rise up nice and tall. Maybe lunge a little deeper. Now, if you feel like you're wobbling here, that's fine because you're actually in a balancing pose. We're going to inhale, lift a little, pivot right heel to the floor, turn sideways, bring arms down to parallel. Hold for a second to arrive in the posture, and then we'll get set up for triangle. We need to straighten the left leg. Maybe shorten the distance between the feet if you'd like. I typically do that. I just feel more balanced here. Okay, let's re-extend the arms. Let's reach out over the left arm, or sorry, left leg. Rotate the arms. Here we are. Reach down and reach up. Now, this really does put some emphasizing in the left hamstring, but notice other parts of the body. Maybe you feel this in your hips or the sides of your body. And there's a nice action of extending. Reach towards the ceiling, even reach towards the ground with this left hand. Your right hip feels like it's moving to the wall behind you. Okay, to come out of the pose, we're bending the left knee into a lunge. Just over, so knee over ankle there. Rise up to warrior two. Hold. All right, then our windmill, bring the hands down to the ground in front. Rise up onto tiptoes behind you. Runner's lunge, press into the ground with the hands. Slide left foot back, plank pose. Hold. And then bring knees to the ground. Okay, go ahead and take a quick rest. I'm going to quickly demonstrate half moon, okay? Now, this is where you might want to use several props. I'm going to bring in not only my stack of blocks, but I'm going to bring in my bolster for a little extra height, and I'll show you why in a moment. I have to be careful because that's a little wobbly, but I'm going to do my best with this. And so I'm just bringing the floor up by creating this little stack, okay? I'm going to come to a standing position. Just watch me here, okay? So we will start in standing as we do this. So I'm going to take my arms into the air. I'm going to exhale and carefully fold like we've done before, coming down to forward fold. I'm going to inhale, rise up to half forward fold and hold. I'm going to bring my right hand to my block. I'm going to step forward a little bit. I'm going to bring my hands to my stacked blocks here, okay? And I've got right hand on the blocks, shifting my weight into my right foot with the knees bent, exhaling to pull belly in. And as I do so, I'm going to slide this left foot back and reach into the air, just reaching back behind me. This is the beginning. Now I'm going to flex that left foot and start lifting that leg. And by lifting the leg, I start to open up through the hips towards you. Okay, just even a little bit is fine. This free left hand, just start reaching into the air. Now, I'm not fully in the posture yet, but this is basically the pose. Okay, I've got a balancing on one foot. I've got the blocks underneath me for stability. Flexed left leg, left hand reaching into the air. That's half moon. I'm going to come back down. All righty. So that's basically how we're going to get into it. Let me show you one little tip before we get into the pose. Now, if you can see me, okay, so let's imagine I'm in that position, okay, half moon pose with my right foot forward. You can see my toes are pointing directly towards you, okay? But if you feel like you can't get into the full posture by opening up through the hip, you might want to turn whatever foot is forward, turn it in a little bit like that. Turning it in will give you a little bit more space to open up the other leg into the air. Experiment with that when we get there. Okay, go ahead and stack your blocks. You can even use the bench of a chair, the seat of a chair here, okay? And then come to standing. Just join me in standing, and you're going to face your stacked blocks or chair. Mountain pose. Here we go. We're going to inhale, take the arms into the air. Exhale, carefully fold. Going down towards shins, ankles, or toes. Inhale, rise up halfway, monkey. Hold here as we exhale. Right hand, come down to the block, your seat, or even a wall, okay? Shifting weight into your, keep the knees bent. You can see my knees are bent. Put weight into the right foot in your right palm. Exhale, pull belly in because we want that core stability. Start to slowly even just step the left foot back like this, toes still on the ground, and start to lift it into the air. It doesn't have to lift high, but just off the ground. Just notice how you feel here. Now your right foot, your toes are probably pointing forward. What you could do, bring the left foot back down, even turn your right toes towards the 11 on a clock, and then relift that left leg. You want to flex the left foot, and as you engage the foot, it engages the leg lifted into the air. It starts to open you up sideways. Because you turned your right foot in a little bit, you might find more opening available to you. Take your left hand into the air. Now to help you balance, maybe look down at the ground. I'm looking down at the ground here, which is helping me hold this posture. This is half moon. So you can see or feel how all those other postures may have helped us get here. Here we're going to breathe in. Exhale, let's carefully bring this left hand back down to the blocks or floor. Okay, we're going to bring the left foot also down to the floor. Come to a forward fold, so a nice release. Put weight into your heels, bend your knees. Look forward, sweep your arms out to the side. Rise up until you're nice and tall. Stretch high. Exhale, arms down by your side. Wonderful. So that's half moon pose. And I threw in the prop of maybe using the wall. Maybe you didn't have blocks there, but even just having a wall can help you with that balance. Something like this, okay? All right, we're going to do the other side. I'm just going to turn my props around so I can still be facing you. Okay, so you're going to return to mountain pose. We're just going to do the exact same thing, other side. We'll inhale. Whenever you're ready, reach into the air, get nice and tall. Exhale, swan dive forward. Take your time, bend your knees. Inhale, rise up halfway. As we fold, we're just bringing this left hand to the stack blocks or whatever you're using as your prop. Keeping the knees bent and putting weight into the left foot as well as the left palm. Core engage, pull belly in. Start stepping the right foot back. Before we lift it, maybe turn your left set of toes inward towards the 1 on a clock. Putting a little bit more pressure into the blocks with your hand. Strong arm, just like in plank pose. So the right leg can lift. When you flex the foot, it engages those muscles there. So it stays lifted. Keeping it flexed, lift it higher and start to feel how your pelvis, your belly, your chest starts to open up sideways. And don't force it, because if you start to lose your balance, that's okay. But maybe just not need to open up all the way. And as you're able, take your right arm up into the air, keeping your focus down at the ground just to help you balance. To challenge that balance, yeah, you can look across the room or even up past your right hand. That would really challenge your balance in this posture. And again, it's okay if you lose your balance. We're just practicing. Breathe in, exhale. Let's bring this right hand back down to the blocks or the floor. We'll bring this right leg down, right foot down to the ground, square out those feet, nicely aligned. Just continue to fold deeply, carefully through your back. Put weight into the heels, bend your knees, look forward, sweep your arms out to the side. We'll stand up tall, reach up. There you go, big stretch. Exhale, arms back down by your side. Excellent. All righty. So that's half moon pose. Half moon, Ardha Chandrasana in Sanskrit, one of my favorite postures. And it's a great way to kind of break it down. Use as many props as you need. Stacked blocks, the seat of a chair, use a wall to help you balance. And just know that all these other poses that we do all the time, like Warrior Two or Triangle Pose, they get us ready. They really help open the hips. Okay, come back to your mountain pose. Let's flow so we can make our way back down to the ground to finish up our practice. Here we go. Inhale, sweep your arms into the air. Exhale, it's swan dive. Just bend your knees, carefully fold, take your time. Inhale, monkey pose. Exhale, bend your knees, hands down to the mat. We'll walk back into plank pose. We'll just hold here for a moment. And then just bring knees to the ground. Sit back and then sit down. All righty. Let's just do some floor work. Just sit in the center of your mat. We're going to move into bridge pose or supported bridge pose. You might want to use your stacked blocks again. So once you're seated, just lie down onto your back here. Bend your knees, feet flat on the ground. Now, that alignment we talked about earlier of knees over heels or ankles is in effect right here as well for great stability and leverage. Breathing in to fill up your lungs. Exhale to engage your belly and then lift hips. As you lift them, just grab those blocks or pillow, whatever you've got, and slide them underneath you to sit on. And this is our supported bridge pose. You can just kind of relax here for a few moments as the whole front side of your body continues to open. This is a nice complement to what we've already done as well, because a lot of those postures we did are hip openers. Think about it. Warrior Two, triangle. What's another one? Even the half moon are all hip openers. Tree pose is a hip opener. And so this just complements it all. Now you're welcome to stay just like this, or you can add on another pose, which is to get upside down or an inverted pose. You can extend one leg and then maybe two legs into the air if you want. This is just an option today. Just a nice energy in the legs. And because we were relying on our legs and feet for balance, let's just, again, change in perspective, going upside down. So we can now pay attention to our feet. And since we really were asking our legs and feet to do a lot, let's just give them a little nurturing. Maybe a little bicycle pedaling here, just to get some mobility. Flex your feet, point your toes, even circle the ankles. If you can, wiggle your toes. So just some nice relief to the lower extremities. You might even do another hamstring stretch. You might bring one foot to the ground, keep one leg extended, and just feel a nice stretch and switch. These are just some options. And when you're completed with your inverted postures, you can just come back to our supported bridge pose for a moment. And when you're ready, you can lift the hips to remove your blocks and come back down to the ground. And just hold here for a moment. Just let your body settle. Okay, go ahead and bring the feet together so the legs, your feet might touch. And then drop the knees slowly out to the sides, okay, on either side of you. So the soles of the feet will touch, knees going out to the left and right, and that creates, of course, another hip opener. So a nice release through the inner thighs. And again, nice complement to all the other poses that we did. Many of the other hip openers, especially those balancing ones like half moon, they're much more engaging. But this is a little bit more relaxing. Let's just take 3 more breaths in this reclining cobbler's pose. And whenever you're ready, you can just bring the knees together and give yourself a hug. Just draw the knees into chest. We'll just hold this for a moment. Just hug the knees in. If you like to add motion, which is what I like to do, go ahead and do that. I like to create a little circle, circling the knees, which helps to release any tension in the low back and hips. You can still, since the feet are still free, you can still provide some motion through the feet and ankles. And then from here, maybe a twist. You can start by taking the knees over to the left side as you extend your right arm off to the right side. A few breaths here. Take as much time as you need on this first side. Whenever you're ready to move, just come back up to center, even pause in center so that everything can come back to neutral, that nice baseline, and then down to the other side. And again, just take as much time as you need on this second side. Whenever you're ready to move, you can return to center, maybe give yourself another hug, and then decide what you would like to do next. If there's any other pose that you'd like to add to this sequence, feel free. Any other movement or stretch, you can add them now. Or if you feel like you've completed your moving practice, go ahead and move right into your relaxing pose. It could be Shavasana, just extending your legs out front, arms down by your side, just laying flat on your mat, or bring in your props. Use them as support for any pose, just making it a little bit more relaxing, certainly more restorative. I'm just going to just bend my knees a little bit using my bolster, and that helps actually take some of the pressure off of my back. Or maybe you want to lie on something soft, or even just prop your head up with a pillow. So whatever feels good for you. And then once you feel like you're in place, really settle in so you can find stillness and remain in stillness for the next few minutes. Stay exactly where you are. No need to move. Just notice your breath. Sometimes when we lie in stillness, it gives our minds an opportunity to wander. We start thinking of things. So just notice if you were thinking. And if that was the case, just acknowledge the thought. Take a deep breath. Put that thought to the side. Come back to this moment. Return to the awareness of your breath. Now, with this awareness of breath, take 5 slow, deep breaths. Creating a deeper awareness of your breath flow. Feel it move through your body. And as you feel the movement of breath, begin to feel the movement of your body responding to the breath. Remembering that notion that the breath moves you. Prana gives you life. It is life. Feeling movement return. Maybe a wiggle of your fingers, wiggle your toes, move your hands, move your feet. Feel that energy rise through your legs, up your arms, down through your torso and hips, your head and neck. And when it feels right, start to roll to one side, coming to a nurturing pose. And then rise up to seated, just taking your time. And just feel that nice re-extension of your spine, sitting up nice and tall. Feeling the breath move through your body. And one more simple movement. We'll inhale, extend your arms into the air, reaching high. Then exhale, bring your palms together and down to your heart. And once your hands are at heart center, go ahead and take one more breath in and out on your own. And hold in stillness for a moment, acknowledging your practice. And as we complete our practice together, we bow, saying, Namaste.